pushing forward. Before the pantheon came the plenitude, before archetypal forms came the primordial formlessness, before the many gods and goddesses came the one Godhead known as Ren Salah. In the beginning, there was only this Godhead, a being, a beingless being, a dimensionless point, an infinite container of everything, including itself. And this uncreated creator was serviced by a slave known as Atunda. As Ren Salah toiled away in the hillside garden, Atunda rebelled, rolling a massive boulder down the embankment, smashing Ren Salah into a multitude of fragments. These fragments, and the number varies from 200 to 201. Some say 400, some say 401, some say 600, some say 601, some say 1,000 or more. They became the Yoruba gods and goddesses, known as the Orisha. So in the spirit of Atunda, I am calling for what my esteemed Baba, elder, now ancestor, Dr. John Henry Clark, called a new liberation covenant with God. So I want to put this in a historical context. I just want to. This is an important conversation, and we've had it. Many of our ancestors, David Walker, Marcus Garvey, Dr. James Cone, as I mentioned, Reverend Albert Cleage, have talked about what liberation theology and the role that our spiritual system plays in our liberation and culture. We got to talk about it. And I'm using the paradigm of a covenant, a two-way agreement by parties about how they will relate in a spiritual nature with one another. And I use the paradigm that Abraham, much of the Old Testament is about the covenant between Abraham and his descendants and God. The birthright and the access to leadership, the guarantee to the throne, the chosenness of your people that covenant produced, right? It wasn't that Abraham just said, "Oh, you God, I'm going to serve you." It was like, okay, I'm going to serve you and my people will serve you in exchange for what? Being chosen. That the Savior of the world is going to come through your loin, your lineage. That David has a right to the throne. That when I destroy the earth, your people will be the people that I save. When I knock out Sodom and Gomorrah and all that when I do all of that, you're the chosen folk. You still going to be standing. And you're still going to be blessed. That's the covenant. And all I'm saying is we as black people, as African people, do a lot of serving. We do a lot of praying. We do a lot of shouting and a lot of falling out. And a lot of I'm going to hell because I don't believe what you believe, right? I mean, I get that all the time. I can't find a woman. Everybody done told me I'm going to hell. So in exchange for all that, all I need to know is what you getting, what we getting, because we do a lot of castigation in the name of it. But I don't know that we have the expectation. And I mean expectation more than you driving a Mercedes, right? I don't care about you driving a Mercedes and having a bank account in exchange for it. I'm talking about what do we as people get in the covenant, because it wasn't just Abraham's personal blessings, it was blessings upon his generation and his seed. So you've been itching to get in, sir. Talk to me before we go back to the phone line.
Yeah, sure. Real quick, talk to you. I'm very interested to find out what the callers are going to say, but I'm going to put it out there like this. I'm a Christian, and I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, so any response...
Is that why you've been sliding further and further away from me as the conversation goes?
Not at all, man. Not at all, man. We brothers like that. I'm closest I'm going to get to you always. But I'm gonna see what they say about what you just laid out, because it is a great conversation to have, because that faith-based understanding is we have to ground ourselves in what we believe and why we believe it, because if not, then we'll get blown away from any wind of doctrine. The Bible tells us that. But what I want to lay out is that there is a dramatic difference between a covenant and a contract. What God established is a covenant, because he never changed what he said he will give to his people. He never changed that. He established a new covenant because the people could not keep his old covenant based upon what he promised that he would give to them. So for you to ask what 10 things would we could ask for, I'm interested to see what some Christians would call it, and even how they would answer that.
All right.
Because from my standpoint is that God wouldn't have to change what he promised that he would give to his people. And if they don't come out of the text of what God...
So when he made the promise, were you, as a descendant of African enslaved people and African empires, some would say you're even descendant of the Egyptians,
right,
who were adversaries at the time, was that a promise to you?
Yes, it was based on the faith and the belief of Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, because those who were not his people, he grafted in as his people. So therefore, the promise that was extended to his people was extended to those who believe as well.
So it's almost like when America was losing World War I and II, and they said, oh, we need some black people to fight with us, and then we got included in to help them win the war. So God was like, yo, my chosen people, they not doing what they supposed to do.
It's not necessarily they weren't doing what they're supposed to do. He realized that one thing you also mentioned was that there's a culture. Every faith has a culture, and this is very true. I definitely agree with that. But the culture that God created for his people was not as an earthly culture as we're looking at. It was a heavenly culture. So therefore, the realms and dynamics of it was different. So when we're looking at culturally...
Well, you supposed to be a minister too?
No.
Okay, just check. All right, it seems like you're gonna have a chance to get your preacher on today. All right, let's go to line 3, Reverend Joe Williams in North Philly. My brother said he'd be interested to see how a Christian answers this question, so he's going to get his chance right now. We have our Reverend Joe Williams, line 3, North Philly. Greetings and good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Dr. Grimes, and to all your team there.
You're not mad at me, are you, sir?
Oh, no. I'm mad at you. I agree with you. Listen to me. I agree with Dr. Combs about the liberation gospel. We don't promote business as usual on Sunday mornings at our fellowship. Monterey United Fellowship is a spiritual fellowship. That's it. And I don't promote and discuss black on Sunday morning. We talk about history. We talk about the music. And I know that what has brought me is a song. I'm 76 years old. There's a song.
Wow.
I didn't write this song, but this is a song that I could have wrote this song. I sang this for years. Something within me, holding the reins. Something within me I cannot explain. Something within me that vanishes pain. All that I know. There's something within, and that's it. And I'm spiritual. I don't discuss religion with barbershop, none of that stuff, because it's too deep. We got 2,000 religions, man. Who you know is smart enough to even talk about this?
There's a lot of religions out there.
Why not?
And my petition to God is to...
Thank you, because that's the core of this conversation is getting down to what our petition was.
That God will bring black folks into the realization of the truth. That's my petition, man. We got folks that will get mad with you. You're trying to hip them and tell them the truth about stuff. They get mad with you. And we got the Stockholm Syndrome and everything else. Listen, I thought you met someone at our fellowship at the time you did our...
And guess what, sir? Guess what got in the way?
Ain't that something
I ain't a Christian, man. My lack of being Christian and spiritual, I don't even think it's Christian. I think if I was like a Muslim or a Hebrew Israelite, people could wrap their brain around it. I think it's the whole thing of not professing a religion. Like, our folks can't wrap their, and I don't care what their orientation, like I say, even my African-centered brothers and sisters can't wrap their brain around me not professing a spiritual system. It's like that makes me un-African. People have literally told me that. And so, I don't know, man. You asking me if I don't know. I don't know that you have to. I don't. But I am telling you, when I profess that, it gives people the right to disassociate from me.
But why can't they respect the fact that...
Bro, you keep asking me a question. I would love to know that. If I knew the answer, I might still be in a relationship, right? But, and some things don't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. I just want to know, in exchange for all the division, divisiveness that religion is costing us, what do we get in exchange? That's the position. Because my thing is, if you're gonna kick good people to the curb because we ain't equally yoked and all that, I get it. I need to know then, because that's a heck of a price we're paying. We got a lot of death and destruction in the name of religion. We got a lot of broken homes and broken communities in the name of religion and spiritual system. So somebody got to tell me what we're getting in exchange for it. That's all I'm asking. 215-634-8065, toll free 866-361-0900. Let's go to Brother Ubaid in the Black Bottom, line 4. Greetings, good afternoon.
Yeah, Jambo and the Baragani Baba, let the circle be unbroken.
I'm trying.
On religion, on relationships, welcome to the club.
I don't like this club, man.
It's rough on a black man, especially one like myself who feel I'm a romanticist and I want to spoil a black woman, but because of ideology and culturalness, all this pushback. Real quick though, on religion, before I get to my covenant or my request.
Your petition, yes.
My petition. If one acts in accord with their beliefs, the village needs to know that their behavior based on their beliefs becomes their politics. using a Shomariism,
Uh-oh.
we must go back and fetch, return to the source, to the belief of our ancestors, rather than the adopted values and principles of the conquerors.
You would think. I mean, that's my thing is that's the conversation. Let's go back and I'm taking it area by area, starting with religion. What do we need?
I'm also curious, Baba, as to how many listeners who quote the Arab creation story, they're commonly called the Bible, know any of the 42 tenets of Ma'at written about them.
Bro, we getting there, but we not there yet. They don't even know the 10 Commandments, man. I still wait for somebody in this studio audience. My man over here in the bow tie. Yeah, I'm having a little fun with this, so y'all gotta forgive me. Because he looked like he should be selling bean pies in the final call. But then he just broke down the whole Christian thing. Now he's Googling, because I want to know if he can tell me the 10. I made a little wager in the studio audience in this room that I bet nobody could tell me the 10 Commandments without Googling them.
Baba, somewhere I read the greatest challenge for black people is their ideological deficiency with the adoption of all these many, somebody said over 2,000, Arab factions of spirituality that keeps us divided.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's part of the conquest, right? I mean, one of the things that underneath all of this conversation, I don't care whether we talk about economics, education, entertainment, labor law, politics, religion, sex, war, science, technology, and health. The underneath it all is all of them right now. We are abiding by the conqueror's rules and the conqueror's conception. And so what we're trying to unearth is the fact that we have to undo our conquered mind in order to really do justice to any of these conversations.
And that was a poem written by H. Songhai in the 80s titled In the Meantime.
Your petition.
My petition. Creator, let my people have the courage for another exodus.
All right.
Let them see that freedom means independent, an interaction without integration, and in return, we will be African again.
All right, I like that. All right, so we have 3 petitions on the record. One petition is for unity and the end to self-hatred. Another petition is for our people to come to the realization of the truth, our truth. And a third petition, just offered by Bob Ubaid, is for the Creator to let our people gain the courage necessary to enact or undertake another exodus, an exodus into true freedom. If you want to join and add to our list of petitions, 215-634-8065, toll free 866-361-0900. And if you have